The Whole Children was started in 2004 by a group of 5 mothers. All were professionals in their lives and then had children with special needs and basically gave up their careers and focused their attention on their kids. And when the children hit about age 8, we realized that there wasn't the kind of resources in the community that they needed. So we got together and we started with a gymnastics class in the summers because that was my background. I was a gymnast and I knew how to teach. I teamed up with an occupational therapist. And then from that, it just grew. The number of families came together and we really just wanted to create a community. When we first started, a lot of the impetus was from my son, who has Williams syndrome. He would often complain that his friends would get together and play soccer and play sports, and he was going to therapy with an adult all the time. And he just wanted to play like the other kids. But he also still really needed skill building. And so in the beginning, we created classes that mirrored the classes of some of their friends were taking, but we knew the classes were infused with skill building. What has evolved over time is in everything we do, the infusion is working on relationships and social skills. And I think part of what's unique about our approach is that we don't script it, that we try to create as much of a natural environment as possible. We approach it thinking, well, you can't control who's behind you in the grocery store line. So let's work on the internal strategies of how can you figure out, how can you understand who you are, what's going on in your body, and learn to deal with that in the community, in the public setting that you really can't control. And because the ultimate goal is to get people more and more as part of the fabric of their own communities. So there's a variety of people who come to Whole Children, ranging in age from toddlers through adults, and ranging in ability from folks who would like to be peers and would like to have the experience of working with people and understanding people who have differences, to people who have no diagnosis at all but just need a little bit more care or attention, to folks with a variety of different disabilities and diagnoses. We provide after-school programs, vacation programs, social programs, as well as some vocational type programs for the adults that happens during the day. We have a set of programs and classes that are just recreational, purely fun, and then we have a set of programs and classes that are curriculum-based. We are a place that focuses on and is interested in individuals with disabilities, so anybody who comes here to work has a passion for that. They want to be here. They find the people who come here fascinating and interesting and wonderful, and they see what they can do. They see their skills and talents. Some of the challenges are often the groups that we have here, these are students who have a one-to-one at all times at school. But here they don't have to have a one-to-one because we've set up the environment in such a way and the staffing ratios that they can function without it. And part of the reason for doing that is so they can start learning some of skills on their own. It does make it a different challenge at times for the teachers who are managing the group, needing to really think about multiple levels of folks in a room together without having one-to-ones when they're learning those skills if they're used to having a one-to-one. We started working toward having a theater program here last year. It was our first little run at it, and we did a small variety show just to see how it would go. And then, so this year was our first attempt at an actual show, and it was excerpts from Charlie Brown and Snoopy, I believe, so we called it Charlie Brown and Pals. There's multiple levels that putting on a show like this benefits the students who are in it. There's learning lines, which is a process of having a particular role and memorizing, working on speech, working on diction, understanding, pretend play, abstracting that right now I'm Snoopy, I'm not Alex, or how do I project what the character is saying instead of what I'm feeling, and then just working together as a group, having perseverance throughout, because they started rehearsals in September and worked throughout the year, and then we had the show in March. You know, in general, one of the things that we face with the field that we work in, there's a couple of things. One is that there's this, as many people know, this huge increase in the numbers of people with autism, particularly. And so there's a large population of people who are needing these services, and the funding is not only not growing for all the new people coming in and needing services, but it's shrinking. The investment we're making now in kids learning these kinds of skills are going to help them be able to work when they enter adulthood and are part of the community, or require less services. But one can look at it and say, well, how important it is for them to have a theater that they can do, or a soccer program that they can do. And so part of it is I think our process of showing, look how successful this group of people can be in this context, so that somebody will ask the question, well, how'd you do that? And then we can talk about, well, we tackled some of these hard things, and we demonstrate that, in fact, with effort and investment, people can learn the kind of social skills that are required to be able to hold down a job. We do work very hard to raise money all year. Almost a third of our budget is fundraising. So many people have supported what we're doing, and we're very grateful. But it's a constant amount of effort that we have to put in, and that effort is not, is taken away from focusing on programs and working with the folks who come here. And also a portion of our budget comes from families paying for services. And the nature of it is that while maybe a general camp in the community has 50 or 75 kids and one paid staff and a couple college students who are helping, our staff ratio is sometimes 1-to-1, sometimes 1-to-2, and the staff have to be skilled. And so there's sort of a double whammy, that the costs can be high just by nature of what we do, and the funding isn't fabulous. As these younger kids start progressing and getting older, they're not happy, they're not satisfied with sitting home on the couch and watching TV as an adult. They're dreaming, they're talking about what do I want my job to be, what do I want my career to be, where do I want to live. Nobody's here by accident. That they're here for a reason, and they're perfect as they are, and their journey is to understand themselves, discover their strength and their color, and how that can be an important and enriching part of their community. And people just need to see that and value it, and things will move, and people will understand each other and work together to let that flourish.